I just don't think they're legit. Their schedule is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You give any other team the schedule, I could see them in the same spot. They've had the third easiest schedule since 1978.
Ooh.
That is a complete stat.
Holy cow.
They had to play C.J. Stroud, blows. Let me make that very clear. And then Justin Herbert before that, who also blows in the playoffs, is a complete choke artist for some reason in the playoffs. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast Field Goals and Forecast presented by Afterthought Sports. Now, live on WSBU 88.3 FM, The Buzz. You can listen to us live from 4 to 5 p.m. on, what's today, Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesdays. Tuesday. Every week, 4 to 5, you can listen to us early, or you can watch it after we're done on the Afterthought Sports YouTube channel. That'll be posted on Wednesday. But I am Ryan Adio. Alongside me is my great co-host, Mr. James Derek. Just want to give a little plug to the station here. As you can tell, we are in a different studio, and we're not on Zoom anymore, which is even better. But I'm finally across from James and not next to James when it's a bit buffery, but we're good. We're back. Love to see it. The divisional round of the NFL is now past us, and it was a bit of a heartbreaker. How are you feeling after that Bills game, James? I know we're both Bills fans here, so
yeah,
probably similar feelings.
You know, friend of the show, Mike Hughes, he put it simply the best. You know, there's a lot of things you can complain about after that game, whatever, but the best way he put it was, man, can the Bills just lose normally?
Yeah, and I completely agree.
After watching a lot of these heartbreaking, losses in the playoffs, I would rather just, lose by 2 touchdowns or something like that. It's kind of the way I'm feeling right now.
I feel like the only time we've lost in the playoffs where I've just been like content with it, is that Bengals game like 3 years ago.
Yes.
We beat Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins by like a score or something, and then we got blown out by the Bengals. And honestly, I was fine with that. I knew that team wasn't that good. This team at least got the hopes up, and then they were just crushed just like that. And it stinks that it got so close, and it came down to some bad calls at the end, or maybe good calls at the end if you're a Broncos fan. Some controversial calls at the end. And honestly, it was just such an emotional scene in the locker room when you lose in overtime 33-30. Josh is saying he let the team down, right?
Yeah.
He had 2 with an asterisk interception, 2 fumbles. Is this loss on him? I mean, did he let the team down?
I mean, in a literal sense, you look at the box score and you see that he hands the ball over 4 times. Yeah, in a sense, he did. He look at how he played against Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
We don't win that game if Josh Allen doesn't play perfectly. Our entire ability to play that next game in the playoffs was on Josh Allen's shoulders.
Yeah.
He played perfectly one week, and then you see the exact inverse of that the next week. Just to add to the frustration, to make it feel like he really, let the team down, is we lose by 3 in overtime, and he plays his worst game, one of the worst games of the season for him. And it just proves to you that that's a game that Buffalo could have and should have won. But the Broncos don't match up with Buffalo. They just simply don't. And the Bills made it about as easy as they could have to let the Broncos in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it was at 3 at the end of the half. Basically, just handed it to him, right? That's kind of the worst play I think I've seen out of him in the playoffs, maybe ever. I mean, and there was, I think I sent it. It reminded me of the play his second year when we played the Texans.
Yeah,
and he threw it back to Dawson Knox, and that was the worst. I mean, that was the previously worst play. At least that one went out of bounds. Nothing happened from it. But it's so hard to place blame on Josh when he's the reason you win so much.
Exactly.
Obviously, Dion, I mean, he's crying in the locker room. Both of them are crying. It's an emotional scene. And Dion's like, no, he didn't let us down. It was not on him. But this was his worst game. But it's not, and that's the ups and downs of being a quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
A loss, it's on you. A win, it's also on you. I mean, Bo Nix didn't play outstanding in this game, but the win's on him, right? I mean, look at the Patriots, right? I mean, we'll talk about it later, but Drake May didn't play that well. He got the win. It's on him. Yeah. CJ Stroud played terribly. The loss is on him. And I think it's similar. But, of course, James Cook, honestly, had a great game. We sort of abandoned the running game late, which is, I don't know. I mean, play calling has always been a question mark this whole year, basically. Mm-hmm. What is your thought on the play calling in this game? Did anything like stand out to you? I mean, we called the stupid hook and ladder that we always run.
Well, that magically works every time. I'm not as concerned about the play calling. I mean, he still got 24 carries. It's not a game where you see him finish at 15 or 16 and you go, we could have had so much more. Yeah. I think we got away from the run towards the end because there was, limited time and you wanted to come back. You let up 20 points in the first half and you couldn't rely on your defense to get stops. Although ultimately 2020, vision is, looking back on it, the defense did get the stops they needed. But I think they had to throw the ball a little bit more in the second half, but James Cook played well. Just to repeat what you were saying pretty much, it sucks that you kind of do, I guess, place this one on Josh Allen, but I as a fan of the Bills, I'm not sitting here going, oh man, Josh sucks.
Yeah. Right.
He's, I don't think you're not a true Bills fan. And I mean this, you're not a true Bills fan if you totally blame Josh Allen for that loss and are like mad at him for it.
Yeah.
You can't be mad at Josh Allen for all he's given Bills fans at this point.
And I mean, honestly, the blame could be on Josh, but clearly it was on McDermott, fired on Saturday. I was shocked to see, or maybe it was Sunday or Monday. It was not that long ago.
Yeah, it was Sunday, maybe?
It might have been yesterday, Monday, but anyway, fired. Every day seems the same since we lost. Let me just put it that way. Do you think he should have been fired? I mean, I'm shocked that we actually pulled the trigger and did it, but
I didn't. Same thing, right? I'm shocked that the Bills fired McDermott. I think a lot of players in that locker room were squarely behind him, and I think still are probably having a tough time getting over it. Mm-hmm. To be honest, he's been there for so long. I don't know. Coming off a year where you failed to surround Josh Allen with the wide receivers that he needed, clearly to play mistake-free football. I think it's a tough look to fire Sean McDermott after this year.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Buffalo's had some better teams where you think, oh, we lose in the playoffs. Maybe you could get away with firing him this year. I feel like this year almost wasn't the year to do that. I think he outperformed almost the offense that was given to him.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a Sabres fan at all, being from Syracuse, but it reminded me of Kevin Adams with the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres have been pretty terrible for a very long time.
Yeah.
Then they fire Kevin Adams this year, but it was on the end of, hey, we're starting to play well again. It was almost the opposite of this, where it's, hey, the team really wasn't that good. You kind of can't blame Sean, but at the end of the day, I do like the move. I don't think it was right. I just don't think the fit was right.
Yeah, and I mean, it does get to a point where someone has to be accountable for the lack of playoff success or the lack of overtime success, as well. Just a change. Ultimately, it doesn't always have to end bitterly. I think, Buffalo it's a very, very community, family oriented in Buffalo. I don't think it was bitter necessarily, but sometimes you just need to change things up. Sean McDermott is so. I think a good coach. He'll be a good coach somewhere else.
Yeah. Arizona Cardinals. Give this man a call. Not the point though. It's like, let's say filling up a bucket of water is your Super Bowl, right? You fill it to the top, you win the Super Bowl. It was like that. There was a tiny hole at the top of the bucket. You can always get really, really close, but with McDermott, it's just never going to be completely
full. That's a good analogy, Ryan.
I've been thinking about it. I've had a lot of time at a long drive back to St. Bonaventure, but do you think it should have been Brandon Beane? Do you think Brandon Beane should still be the GM of the Buffalo Bills at this point? I mean, he has 2 Pro Bowlers drafted since 2018. Those are Dawson Knox and James Cook, not including Josh Allen, of course. I think
as an organization, you probably fire a coach before a GM.
Mhm.
And I'm an amateur with this. I have no idea, but that's just my thought process. If someone's next, it's him,
Yeah.
right? And you would probably, demand to see a little bit more success drafting this upcoming draft specifically. There's a lot of talent in there, a lot of things that Buffalo needs.
Yeah.
But again, maybe another postseason like this comes up next year. I wouldn't be surprised if he's next, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if in his first year, the new head coach takes him to a Super Bowl and wins. But hey, it happens. It's happening right now with Mike Vrabel, at least getting there. So you never know. But speaking of that new head coach, where do you think we go? What direction are you feeling? Offensive, defensive? Are there any, names that pop into your head straight away?
There really isn't, besides Stefanski, which he is already off the board.
He's an Atlanta Falcon. Couldn't be happier about it, but that's not the point.
Yeah, I texted you immediately when that happened, but it's almost like I wonder if even Stefanski's like wondering, oh crap, I didn't know the Bills job was opening up, whereas he like sitting there in Atlanta like, oh man, could have taken Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm sure the same thing happened to Harbaugh. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Although, would I have wanted Jim Harbaugh? No. But
some thoughts go, like you just wonder like what Mike Tomlin would do with a Buffalo team.
Oh man, I hope it's not Tomlin. I really hope it's not.
And that's just me being curious, not me saying he should be the coach or I want him to be the coach, but you just wonder, ultimately I have no idea where we should go. It wouldn't hurt to have a strong-headed, defensive-minded head coach that would whip the defense into shape in a sense. But, that's obviously, coaches don't work miracles like that. You don't just, whip a defense into shape. I think if Buffalo does go with a defensive coach and our defense plays well, that's more so a product of what we've seen evolve over the course of this season. Yeah. I think we have seen the defense trend to a way better direction.
And now you're sitting there, you're looking at like, hey, our offensive coordinator's taking head coach job interviews. The defensive coordinator's been there not that long. Like, you bring in a new head coach, they might both be gone. At least one of them is probably going to be gone. But I think it depends if it's offensive or defensive. If we're going defensive, I would like it to be Brian Flores. I've been very high on him for a long time. He's been around the AFC East his entire career. I think he's worked for all AFC East teams at this point. He was with the Patriots for a very long time, and then the Dolphins, and I think he was with the Jets at some point. And he's worked miracles over at Minnesota for some reason. So
something can be said about coaches that were around the New England Patriots while they were successful over there. I mean, just as we talk about Mike Vrabel, I mean, he comes back, and I mean, did anyone doubt that he would not be the best leader for a New England Patriots team coming out of Tennessee? Yeah. I mean, I think everybody knew smash hit home run of a hiring for New England.
Tennessee made a mistake with firing him, and I honestly, I understand why they did it, and maybe we'll say the same thing about McDermott in a little bit. But back on McDermott, is he a Buffalo Bills legend? He was with us for 8 years, I believe, almost 9 years. Do you put him in the Hall of Fame? The Buffalo Hall of Fame. Let me make that very clear. The Wall of Fame, if you say so.
I think you do, because he'll always be tied to Josh Allen and his success. I mean, ultimately, he's the head coach that, I mean, you can say developed Josh Allen, brought him, along his way of being successful. And especially since the Bills have still yet to win a Super Bowl, there's no one that totally outshines him. So I think totally. Yeah. I would say he is. What do you think so?
Oh, I think so for sure. And honestly, he might take a head coaching gig somewhere else, be really successful. And if he's not successful, I see no reason why we don't bring him back to Buffalo. Buffalo loves reunions with their old players and coaches. Yeah. He could end up just being a, defensive coordinator or something at some point. But not for a little bit at least. Let's put it that way. But I do think he is at least a very memorable, highly regarded coach, and I think he always will be. I don't think anybody is like, oh man, Sean McDermott, like what a joke. But on the other side now, the Broncos move on to the AFC Championship. However, if you haven't heard, because for some reason you live under a rock or something, no Bo Nix next week. He broke his ankle, something along those lines. Fractures his ankle.
Yeah.
And one of the last few plays, maybe even the kneel down, which terrible, just unbelievable to see. He had a solid game. He did have an interception, 3 touchdowns. He led the team in carries as well, 12 carries, 29 yards. Marvin Mims had 93 of those yards and a touchdown, which he had a concussion. Wasn't concussion protocol.
Didn't look very good first play of the game.
Very first 5 minutes, but whatever. Obviously Jarrett Stidham now starting in the AFC Championship game. Honestly, a little disappointing. Just coming from a Bills fan.
Yeah.
You would have maybe seen a better game. Bills Patriots probably would have been better, but hey, who knows? Jarrett Stidham could light it up. And then I just have one final question here about the Bills game. You don't have to go into detail, but what are your thoughts on the referees in this game? A lot of missed calls, maybe no calls, and then the final 3 minutes, and then the catch, of course, Brandon Cooks.
I feel like I rarely want to chalk it up to officiating, and this is a time where again I don't. You play mistake-free football. None of those calls are going to matter, and you're going to be way ahead. And you don't even have to play mistake-free football. Just get rid of the really, really, really dumb ones. And anyone who's talked to me about this game knows, and I reference this every time. People are probably sick of me hearing it. You are, at least. Why do you hand them 3 points before halftime?
Yeah.
That's the only
that was
thing.
The biggest one.
Matt Prater's kicking a game-winning field goal instead of a game-tying field goal at the end of the game. And, that's still way too close for comfort, and you still could have eliminated the other mistakes. But the easiest one to just not do is with 16 seconds left, why are you trying to go down the field at all?
Yeah.
Just take a knee, go to halftime.
It was the deep shots, at the end of the game for, no reason that I was just really confused about. Even that throw to Brandon Cooks, it's 4th and 10. I mean, we throwing screen passes and running mesh concepts the entire game. Why not just stick with that? I don't understand why we try to go for it all in one play. Obviously, Josh misses Knox at the end of the game. Yeah. That was a pretty bad one. I don't know. I honestly believe that call is so close, but there's nothing in the rules that says this is what a catch is, this is what a catch isn't. And that's what makes it so hard to say, was it a catch, was it not? It looked to me like a catch, but look, it's probably my bias at the end of the day. They made the call, it's going to stand. What are you going to do? You should. No team wins with 5 turnovers.
And just
it's not going to happen.
Can't be understated how phenomenal of a play that was to wrestle that football away with one hand. So, I mean,
if he doesn't do that, they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a really great play. And you know what? Losing on, to someone make a great play like that, you just got to tip your cap, regardless of maybe what officiating was involved.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably have heart problems in about 10 years from all these games, but so, not the point. We will talk more about the Buffalo Bills and the future of the Buffalo Bills as it comes along in our future episodes. So stay tuned for that. But now let's move into our field goals of the week. And no, we're not talking about kicks. We're talking about the good, the no good, and the not even close. In other words, what went well this week and what just didn't. And there were only 3 other games, so I had to put one in each category. What was good? I thought the Rams-Bears game was really, really good for both teams. I mean, obviously, the city of Chicago and the Chicago Bears would love to have won that game, but it's a tough opponent. I said the same thing about Carolina Panthers last week. Rams make it very close. Bears give great effort, but they lose in overtime, 2017. It was kind of a miracle season for them. In all honesty, I don't think anybody expected them to be here. I mean, at least I didn't.
I certainly did not.
But Caleb Williams has 3 interceptions, including the one in overtime to kind of give that game away. Of course, maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe DJ Moore fell asleep on the route. It's not my place to say. But again, pretty solid game out of him, 23 of 42. He makes that play. One of the greatest throws I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable play in the playoffs to Cole Kmet in the back of the end zone. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even. I'll tell you what. I was watching it on a delay, and I was just getting. It was Cole Kmet. Oh my God, Bears. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? And then I see Caleb Williams go 20 yards the wrong way. I'm like, am I a play ahead?
Is there like a
what's
flag
happening
that's
here?
Gonna reset this play here or something?
And then he catches it in the back, sends them into overtime. Unbelievable. But as much as I would love to talk about the Bears, unless you have anything to say about the Chicago Bears,
No.
let me ask this again, and I asked the same thing last week. Are the Rams worse than people thought? They kept it close with the Panthers and the Bears.
I mean, the Bears, they specifically their defense has shown an ability to just play so hard and keep them in games. I'm not surprised this ended up being a close game. I think the Rams are still every bit as legit. Again, still possibly some concerns with the defense, but they kind of patched that up in this game, in my opinion. They tightened up. They only allowed 17 points. I know it was a really cold night, and that was in their favor as well.
That's true.
Defensively speaking, but I'm pretty confident in the Rams at this point. Going into Chicago and beating this team that has played really well at home, and I mean, one of the most improbable comebacks against Green Bay. You had to believe the magic was with Chicago at that point, and the Rams were going to win in a close one no matter what.
And when they punted in overtime, I remember being like, "Oh my God, it's over."
Yeah,
they're going to lose this game. Caleb Williams is going to make this comeback, but they escaped. I'll say they escaped Chicago with the win. And then of course, Kyron Williams had a great game. 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Puka was pretty limited. I won't lie.
He was, yeah.
Stafford had no touchdowns in this game. Are the Bears a serious contender next year? And I'll add this on top. Is Ben Johnson your coach of the year? I know kind of 2 layered questions here, but
I can't. I mean, okay. You don't want a repeat situation of the Commanders, but I don't think that's here. I don't think that's what it is. Where you're a young team and you outperform expectations, and then you have a regression year immediately after. Yeah. I don't think that's where the Chicago Bears are. I genuinely do have a lot more faith in this team for next season. I mean, just to reiterate that, do you think so as well? I mean, what are you thinking when you compare them to the Commanders even?
It's a tough division. It is a really, really tough division.
Yeah.
I think they could make a run for it next year. They'd have to be just as magical though, because there's a lot of magic
and get
involved.
Better too.
Yeah, seriously, just get a little bit better. And then Ben Johnson, coach of the year. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones this year. Liam Cohen's got to be up there. Ben Johnson's got to be up there. I mean, you could even throw Dave Canales up there, right, from the Panthers. I mean, you could put a lot of names in that hat.
No, there are a lot of names in there. I don't know. I mean, Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson are kind of the 2 names that pop out the most. I think if Cohen wins against the Bills, he's a shoo-in. Yeah. I think there's no way it's not him. But losing to the Bills and then the Bears getting that extra round in the playoffs on them, they've been talking about Ben Johnson a lot. It's almost like whenever you're gauging these awards, you have to, how much are they talking about?
Yeah, right.
How much are they talking about him in the media? They've been talking about Ben Johnson an awful lot, especially going into that game last night. Mm-hmm. Or not last night, this past weekend. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I think it's almost like a coin flip almost between the 2.
If you ask me, I think the coach of the year is Kyle Shanahan.
With what he did with that team.
But they're not talking about him enough in the media. So I don't I don't know. But the fact that he got to where he was with the team that he had and the injuries that he had, and Mac Jones starting half their games, I think is pretty remarkable, but not the point, I guess. Anyway, let's move into the no good here. And I'm put the Seahawks 49ers game in here. It is just the no good. It really could have fell into the not even close.
Yeah.
Man, the Seahawks dominated in this game. They win it 41-6. They scored more points in the first 13 seconds of this game than the Niners did for the entire 60 minutes.
We watched the game winner on play 1.
Game winner on play 1. 13 seconds in. We get to turn the TV off and know who won.
I was actually, when I was watching this with my friends back home, we said if they go up by 28 points or more, we'll turn on Family Guy. And we watched Family Guy for a lot of the night.
I don't even blame you.
Yeah, that's what we did instead.
Barely watched it as well, to be completely honest. But I don't think Brock Purdy was that bad. I mean, 15 of 27, 140 yards, and those are just the stats. And he did have the interception. He led in the carries. Christian McCaffrey did get hurt middle of that game. So Brock Purdy led with 37 yards. Jake Tonjes led, and he didn't even play half the game. They had 59 yards And I just want to say, right? I just want to bring this up. Pearsall's hurt. Juwan Jennings gets a little banged up. He's still there, but then Kittle gets hurt, and McCaffrey's hurt, and Tonjes is hurt, and Brandon Ayuk is driving his car somewhere thinking, they don't need me. They don't need me. But I just think that's funny. I just was thinking about Brandon Ayuk that whole time. Like, man, they really could use someone like a first round receiver that they somehow just have. But I mean, what even happened between now and the Eagles game? Is it just injuries? I mean, or are the Seahawks like just that good?
Well, it's injuries, and you're so limited when you only have so many guys available that from a coaching standpoint on the other side, the Seahawks went into this game going, we know exactly what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, what look they're in, when they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And when you're limited that much by injuries, the other team, especially if they got a good defense like Seattle, they're going to know you like the back of their hand. They're playing you for the third time this year.
Yeah.
You want to throw that in too?
Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing behind the 49ers going into this game, and I should have seen it, beforehand. I mean, but it was obvious after watching the game that's what it was.
9 points in their last two meetings. 9 points. Honestly, like, I gotta look, but I'm thinking the Seahawks have above 80. No, they have probably 60. It was a 13-3 game at the end of the season.
13-3, but still.
But all throughout the season, they probably have 80. But and not the point. Let's move into the not even close. Of course, it's the final game here. The Patriots and the Texans, because they both stunk. They are both just not good. I'm sorry, they're just not that good. I mean, I know they got to this point. They had to have beaten some teams, but they had 8 turnovers. 5 of them came from the Texans, including 4 interceptions from C.J. Stroud, and they lose that one, of course, 28-16. But I mean, on the other side, it wasn't that good. I mean, the Patriots are not legit in my mind. Do you? I mean, what are your thoughts on New England Patriots right now?
I was in a bad mood watching this game.
I agree,
because you just get the news. Well, not only did you just watch Buffalo lose the night before, you get the news that Bo Nix is hurt and it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. And you just think to yourself, while you're watching this game, while they're handing the ball off to the other team, you're telling me Jarrett Stidham has a chance of playing in the Super Bowl? Because either of these teams could go lose to Denver with how well that Denver defense is playing.
Yeah.
I mean, man, Denver hits hard. They obviously strip the football. They can pick you up no matter what. I don't have faith in either of these teams that, while I was watching the game, going and beating the Broncos. And it just injected thoughts of Jarrett Stidham in the Super Bowl and having a letdown of a Super Bowl at that point.
Forget Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos. You're telling me this Patriots team or this Broncos team is going to be either of the juggernauts on the other side, the Rams or the Seahawks. I just don't see it. It's just not gonna happen.
I don't give them a chance.
Yeah. I mean, Drake May had an interception and he had 4 fumbles. 4 fumbles. I mean, the Houston defense was all over him. Granted, they are very good, great unit, but you turn over the ball 3 times. I mean, he lost 2 of them only because, I don't know, Texans forgot how to pick the ball up, but not the point. He took 5 sacks and he made the game close. He genuinely made the game close despite getting 5 turnovers handed to them. I just don't think they're legit. They've had their schedule is unbelievable. Unbelievable. You give any other team this schedule, I could see them in the same spot. They've had the 3rd easiest schedule since 1978.
Ooh.
That is a complete stat.
Holy cow.
They had to play C.J. Stroud, blows. Let me make that very clear. And then Justin Herbert before that, who also blows in the playoffs, is a complete choke artist for some reason in the playoffs.
Yeah, he didn't have an O-line.
He does not have an O-line. But they played the Chargers O-line and the Texans quarterback at the end of the day, and now they get to play Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship. Buffalo is 2 wins away from being in this exact situation. and they're one win away against the Eagles from being in the Texans situation, where all they have to do is beat the Patriots, and then beat the Broncos, and then they're in. You want to talk about messed up mistakes? Buffalo losing 2 games killed their. I mean, you win that rivalry game against New England at the beginning of the season, you're in the same spot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't say Buffalo would easily handle the Texans. We know that from experience. We watched that this season.
They handle this Texans. I have never seen a worse playoff quarterback in my life. I mean, and I've seen Justin Herbert.
Watching this game, it made me question my love for football a little bit. As I'm watching, right, I'm in the third quarter. Okay, the score is 16-21, and it's a 5-point game. And there's zero chance that the Texans win.
Yeah.
They had the ball a couple times while it was still 16-21.
I mean, they
and in
gave
my mind,
them opportunities.
Zero chance. I'm like, there's no way CJ Stroud leads them down the field and they score.
Yeah.
And it was a 5-point game at that point.
I mean, this is kind of a rhetorical question because I know it's not going to happen. But do you think the Texans should maybe look into getting away from Stroud? I mean, he's still on the rookie contract. They're going to have to pay him soon. Do you think he has a make or break year next year and they say, if you can't figure it out, sorry, we're gonna look somewhere else?
I don't think they'll do that. I mean, you agree with me pretty much. You don't think they'll do that either, but it's almost, it's a rhetorical question because it proves a point. Should they be thinking about that? Given the success that he'd had earlier in his career, you would imagine this is a preposterous rhetorical question at this point. But then you see all this and you go, holy cow, how can you regress this much after playing so well earlier in your career? It's not really a prove it year for him, but they should be thinking about it. I don't think they will, though.
He was 20 for 47, 212 yards, a touchdown, 4 interceptions, as we mentioned. He took 3 sacks. He had a 28.0 QB rating. Of course, remember, James, 39.6 is spiking it into the ground on every single play.
That's my fave.
So worse than that. I guess my final question here, is the Patriots defense really that good? I mean, we saw them limit Stroud. We saw them limit Herbert. Or is Stroud just that bad? I mean, maybe a little bit of both. But how good is this New England defense as well?
Well, they I don't know. They play tight coverage. They get pressure on the quarterback when they have to. They're just, I'd love to see them against, Joe Burrow when he's fully healthy with that team, because he's a guy who can actually come up to his line, make adjustments, maybe even realize, they're disguising this coverage here. CJ Stroud, that is a foreign concept to him, I think, possibly. Not to totally crap on CJ Stroud.
No,
I really have no place to speak poorly upon these quarterbacks, but I think there's a chance that, yes, it is that good, the Patriots defense.
I mean, I think if the Texans had a top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback, they'd be a Super Bowl contender. And they might even be a Super Bowl winner.
Nico Collins could have.
Of course. I mean, I know the Texans were down some receivers. They had some drop problems, but just not the point. I don't think that would have mattered that much. It doesn't matter that much because it was just a terrible performance from Stroud. But that will do it for our field goals of the week. Let's move into the extra point. I've got a little game for you. The CJ Stroud Gauntlet. I'm going to ask you CJ Stroud or this player. You will have to tell me which one you would rather prefer for next season. Let's put it that way. So let's start at the top. His backup. Would you rather have CJ Stroud or Davis Mills?
Well, I think Davis Mills would have been worth a look in that playoff game. Obviously not for next season, though.
Yeah, I understand that. How about CJ Stroud or Shedeur Sanders?
I mean, I'm still going to stick with CJ here, but like how many... It would take probably like 5 more, regular season. It would take like 5 more performances like this past playoff game for me to say Shedeur Sanders.
Fair enough. And Shedeur would need to prove some more.
Yeah.
How about Tyler Shuck?
He is way closer than he should be.
Yeah.
Because Shuck shows a lot of promise in New Orleans. I started making notes to myself like for my fantasy football GM self next season.
Right.
I have this little notes stack.
It's only 8 months away.
Very high up on the notes stack is, could Tyler Shuck be legit? And Chris Olave therefore legit. So just things to think about going into next season. He's not. I'm still going to take CJ Stroud, but he's got some hype in there in New Orleans.
And then I'll ask a non-rookie here, but Michael Penix.
I don't want Michael Penix over C.J. Stroud. No.
Fair enough.
It's still closer though.
So C.J. Stroud has won the first 4, but how about Cam Ward? We're getting increasingly more difficult, I guess, here. Guess is the big word.
But it's like, is this for one season? Is this just like to develop for the future? Because like Cam Ward, I mean, he's got talent, possibly more potential than Stroud at this point.
You can say for the future, either way. Stroud's young. He's probably the same age as Tyler Shuck. So
he is actually.
Okay.
Funny enough, I think he's around the same. If
I'll Google it.
Shuck
while
might
you
be
answer.
older. He might be already 25. I think when you add in, possibly the fact that Cam Ward develops more, it's just weird that we're seeing this regression from Stroud at the prime age of 24.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I have to imagine Cam Ward wouldn't start regressing at 24.
Yeah.
So I probably just go Cam Ward. That's such a hot take, though. I mean, Stroud has had his track record of success as well. So
yeah,
if we can
go
develop him, Cam Ward, but as it sits now, C.J. Stroud.
So Tyler Shuck was actually older than C.J. Stroud when he was drafted. So
wow,
he's 25 when he was drafted. He's 26 now.
He's 26 now.
Yeah, he's 26.
Jeez.
Next up is Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, he played
you
so
love
well
Jacoby
this season.
Brissett.
If you could right,
it is for the future. At the end of the day,
it is like at
Brissett
the end of the
is
day,
old, but
it is for the future. But like, Brissett had a better I don't have the numbers in front of me. I bet he had a better season than C.J. Stroud.
I would put money on it.
I'm gonna go C.J. Stroud though, even though it's literally like I should say Brissett at this point.
Yeah. And then how about on the other side, Kyler Murray?
Oh man, he just hasn't played well enough. I'll take Stroud still.
I mean, you might even take Brissett over Kyler Murray at this point.
I would.
How about Daniel Jones? This year.
Danny Dimes, I don't know. He got figured out at the end there. I haven't seen C.J. Stroud get quite as figured out, in that offense. He does throw picks, though. I'm still going to go C.J. Stroud, miraculously enough.
C.J. Stroud has made it through 8 quarterbacks at this point. Now, here's the tough one for you. I know we're not allowed to talk about Bryce Young anymore. But
I'm not.
C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. Of course, Bryce Young was picked 1 pick before Stroud in the same draft. And honestly, he might be playing better than him right now.
For development's sake, he certainly is playing better than him right now. And I don't want to seem spineless like I just hop around on my opinions like this, but Bryce Young has proven a lot of things. He's proven me wrong in many ways since that fateful TikTok.
Yeah,
where
I caught you in a bad time.
Yeah, he was not,
he was right on the verge. Yeah.
But like that playoff game against the Rams, even though he didn't play particularly well, the team was still in it. You thought for a moment Bryce Young could lead his team to a win against the Rams, who were supposed to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. This is impossible. I think it's a coin flip right now. And, going into this year, I think people would have said Stroud by, 1 million.
Yeah.
But I think I can't answer this. It's a coin flip for me right now. 50-50.
Well, I'll say Bryce Young. But next is Baker Mayfield.
I would take Baker Mayfield over C.J. Stroud.
We're getting to the point where it's to the end of the gauntlet, right? How about Brock Purdy?
As long as Brock Purdy's still on the 49ers.
Fair, yeah. All right, fair enough. Bo Nix.
I can't even act like that's the only stipulation that I'd have, but obviously Brock Purdy. Bo Nix. I don't know. He just beat Buffalo. I'm also taking Bo Nix at this point. Maybe I should just say Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
whatever.
Trevor Lawrence. 2. He was the number 1 overall pick in 2021. Stroud is 2023. Second overall.
He's a while ago, but I think especially with the coach he has now, I'll take Trevor Lawrence. I think he's on his way up, and he's going to have better and better seasons.
And then finally, Dak Prescott, the other Texas quarterback.
Man, Dak Prescott finds himself in the MVP conversation.
Let him know
pretty regularly.
Yeah.
So I'm easily Dak Prescott.
That was the C.J. Stroud gauntlet. The toughest it got was Bryce Young, which is kind of crazy to think about. But kind of a forecast for next week, but not really. Of course, we can't tell you the weather, but we can make some predictions for the next week of football. Our NFC brackets are still 100% right now.
Nice.
We had the same NFC bracket. But this is your last chance to switch. Do you want to take the Seahawks over the Rams right now?
You know, I do believe in fate and that a Patriots-Seahawks rematch could happen. But I am still riding heavy with the Rams, as you can articulate. You know, they've had some close games this year.
I'm going to also go with the Rams. I just think that Sam Darnold and the Rams, it's not a good matchup. They beat him last year in the playoffs. But on the other side, the AFC, Broncos or Patriots. Do you want Jarrett Stidham or Drake May?
Begrudgingly give me Drake May.
I just think that that's the right answer. I just don't see a world where the Broncos win. And maybe this will be a clip if they inevitably do win. But I just don't see it. I just do not see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll have to. He'll have to turn into Nick Foles, just take over and lead the Broncos to a Super Bowl W.
Jarrett Nick Foles Stidham.
Yeah,
that's what they're calling him. Yeah. But that will do it for this episode of Field Goals and Forecast. Thank you all who are listening, and thank you all for watching here on YouTube as well if you are. But we will see you all next week when we do have a Super Bowl matchup, honestly, to talk about. And if there's any crazy games or if it somehow is Jarrett Stidham, you will want to be here to hear the rant that will go through me. But thank you all again for watching or listening. We'll see you all next week. Go watch some football. Bye-bye.
Peace.